Allow the chains to fall off. Targeting individual psychic reading. If you want to personalize one of these, they are on sale. Go to the link on any of my socials. It's called Stand Store. It's like Linktree. You can get them same day guaranteed. So allow the chains to fall off. For too long, you've been shackled to a situation. You've done everything that you needed to do. Okay, and it's now a case of allowing yourself to be free. Because the problem is, right? So on my live the other day, I was having a good old rant about being affected and having my work blocked again. And then this person was saying, "Oh, you shouldn't hold on to it because otherwise it gets too toxic." And in a way, they're right. You know what I mean? You can have triggers and stuff like that. At some point, we need to kind of let things go and just focus on ourselves. So it feels like this collective has done enough to break those chains. So let's let them go now. Three of Pentacles, Lord of Material Work. Okay, so you've put the hard work in, and by releasing those chains, that's going to allow that material abundance to come through. I feel. There's something about breaking a cycle. It was almost like, it's funny because I'm sure I did one of these a couple of days ago, and it was talking about having one more person left in your energy that needed to be let go of, and that's what it feels like. Ace of Cups in the reverse, Lord of the Root of the Powers of Water, right? I feel because you've been so focused, and then I've got the Ten of Pentacles, Lord of Wealth. I feel like because you've been so focused on breaking free of these attackers, that you've not really thought about what's going to make you happy. Okay. I want to say the loves, it's not necessarily love, but the loves and passions that you once had are no longer viable because you've stepped up into a new energy. Ace of Pentacles, Lord of the Root of the Powers of Earth, right? So I want to tell this collective, and then Two of Swords in the reverse position, Lord of Peace restored. So what this feels like to me is, it's like, right, let's reassess, right? What is it moving forward? What is it that you're investing in? Because you won't find that peace, you won't find that energy, you won't find that clarity until you shift. So it's going to be hard to explain because this is more energy based than visual based. But it's like I've got my whole body across this kind of line. So what I can see in my mind is it's like I've got a kind of slightly darker side there, and then I've got a lighter kind of grey hue to my vision. And it's like I'm virtually all in the grey, the lighter grey side, but I've got 1 foot in the slightly more shadowy side. So that feels like that's that old energy. And because you're just still holding on, because it feels like for this collective, it's almost like for so long you've been in that kind of more shadowy side, that it's almost like, yeah, but if I pull my foot completely across the line, is anything going to happen? And it's going to be out of my vision. Is it going to is something going to be going off without my knowing? Okay. And I kind of want to tell this collective that you've got to have that faith. You've got to have that faith. If you want the abundance, you've got to stop out of old energy. So case in point, right? When you're on a spiritual path, when you're on a spiritual journey, if you stay in environments with people who are lower vibrational, they're just going to hold you back. They're just going to feed off you. At some point, you need to be brave enough to go, this doesn't work for me. This collective, this environment doesn't work for me. So I'm going to go forth in the direction that I want. Seven of Swords in the reverse, Lord of Unstable Effort. So yeah, that instability in all the effort and hard work you've put in, that's going to be coming to an end. Eight of Pentacles, Lord of Prudence. I just want to get a clarifier on that one because it could go either way. Last Judgment, the Spirit of Primal Fire. So what I want to say here is, because you've been prudent in your actions, because you've not because I feel like with this collective, there's been a lot of lessons in regard to kind of not rushing in, taking your time, being a bit more prudent, and you're being judged worthy now moving forwards. don't let the attacks of the past hold you back. So if you've had to fight a lot of battles and you're carrying a lot of scars and things haven't worked out in the past, don't let that get to you. Okay, don't let that get to you. And it's interesting because I'm going to do a short piece of content when I remember in regard to follower numbers and stuff like that. Okay, Eight of Swords in the reverse, Lord of Shortened Force. I'm not sure I want to go with that one in regard to the title. Right, what I want to say here is I'm going to go a little bit left field. So we've got the flower in the center, and then we've got the swords running through it. It feels like you've kind of caged off your heart chakra. Okay. No, I don't want to say that. I want to change my mind. What I want to say is that you've taken a lot of swords. I know this is swords and it's not cups, but you've taken a lot of swords through the heart. What you need to remember, Nine of Wands, that's led you to be the Lord of great strength. Okay. So it's interesting because I think I was doing some content on this. I can't remember. But, oh no, I saw some content on it. And what it was basically saying was that, you know, when we look back on the situations that we've been through, it's not nice, it's hard, it's tough, it's painful, but it's all about finding that strength because, you know, because it was using the example of families, but what it was basically saying is that, you know, those people that you know that had great childhoods and stuff like that, they're not awakened because they've not had the trials and tribulations. And that's what it kind of feels like. It feels like you've been through so much to make you the strong person that you are, right? So I'm just going to use the what's the tea. I don't feel like these are going to be overly useful in this case because you're being asked to step out of an energy, right? So Queen rising, glowing up loud, all eyes on her, coming up spotlight, and then we've got groupie. Right, what this feels like is because you're starting to glow up, because you're starting to rise, you're starting to have followers. You're starting to have groupies, for want of a better phrase, because people can see the shift and change within you. People can see that you're starting to elevate and rise on that throne that was always yours. You're starting to put that crown back on your head. What else we got? Right, so just be wary. I don't want you to worry about it because, like I say, you're being asked to kind of step out of this energy. Fake accounts, lurking on your socials, hidden identity, can't stop watching you. Do I want to go for that? No, we'll leave that. We'll see if it comes out as the travel card. Okay. So, yeah, I think it doesn't matter how far you elevate. There will always be eyes on you, but it's kind of about stepping out of that energy, focusing on what you're doing, and because it feels like for so long you've had to defend and stand your ground. You've had to protect your castle. Now that's always going to have to be the case. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, you know, you can allow source to step in. You can allow your team to step in. Right, bad habits, DURGS and denial, repeating mistakes, can't break the loop. I feel like with the fake accounts there, I feel like your attackers, they know that they've lost, but they're almost stuck in this cycle of keeping an eye on you, watching your account, watching your content if you're a content creator. And it's almost like an addiction to them. You know, this is part of their karma, I believe. Hustling, making it rain, focusing on the bag, and money is the mission. That's what you're focusing on, right? These people or this person, they're happiness haters, right? The problem is when you're a happiness hater, you're never going to be happy yourself, or you wasted your life. You know, don't let these people drag you down into their toxic pit of pity and poor me and jealousy and stuff like that. They're just simply not worth it. So I just want to get see if there's any more. There's no more that want to come out, so we'll leave it there. That's all.